Hi, and welcome back to my video series here on how to be an awesome paralegal, legal assistant, or legal secretary for the law office. And we have been going on some basic tips and ideas on being a helpful extension of your attorney to help save him some time and fulfill your role as the legal secretary or paralegal or legal assistant. Now, an important process of the law office is client intake, and generally that starts on the phone when there's something that's happened and somebody needs legal representation. Now, some attorneys like to do the calls themselves. Some attorneys will want you to do pre-screening to find out the best leads, and they'll want to go from there, and some will try to have you try to set the consultation, and some attorneys are going to charge a consultation fee, some do not. It just depends. Learn what your attorney, of course you're going to learn what the attorney does in his office, but as soon as that consultation is set, it's going to go into the calendar and make sure that potential client gets directions to the law office. And of course, once they come in, you're going to want to go ahead. If there's a intake form, you're going to want to have them fill out the form and fill out all the pertinent information, because you are going to have to go back and plug any of that information in. If there is a program that the attorney uses to keep track of the information, of course, most attorneys will have you, or law offices will also have you scan in that form, as also place a hard copy into the file itself, and you'll also want to create an electronic file of everything that the client gives you. And now a lot of times clients will bring documentation with them, and generally it's a policy to never keep originals in the attorney's possession unless it is requested. So I would go ahead and make copies, so that way, if there's not that many, if they've got like 4 or 5 pieces of paper, you can go ahead and quickly make a couple of copies and make sure that the client gets their original. Usually most people bring in their things and they are crooked and bent and things like that, out of shape, because most people just keep their things non-organized. So you will need to know that you got to put that flat down on the copy machine instead of trying to run it through, if it will not go through easy. Otherwise you're going to get paper jam, and you don't want to create that condition to damage original documents. So, and then of course, whatever you make a copy of, you are going to want to place a hard copy into the file, and of course scan it into the electronic file itself. And of course, most attorneys do have a contract. Now, you may need to change some information on the computer and print it out, or there may be a collection of pre-printed contracts or different contracts or letters of engagement that the attorney will use. So you want to get the right one, whether it be for a criminal case or personal injury case, what have you. You do want to have that ready for the attorney. And of course, if there is a consultation fee before the discussion of the retainer, of course, most attorneys like to discuss whatever the retainer is with the client themselves. But as far as like client intake, some attorneys do charge like a $50 fee all the way up to $300 for the consultation. So you will want to go ahead and get that payment up front. Most attorneys do request that you run that credit card or get a check or cash. And of course, you are going to want to make a receipt. It is important to keep track of all payments and all records. Of course, I would scan in the receipt, place a copy of the receipt into the file, and of course, there's also a separate place for either record keeping to keep for taxes that will need to go to as well. And of course, if there is like something like ProDocs, you can keep track of payments electronically. And of course, I would also, make sure you do. Some people want to write it inside the file or just keep a copy of the receipt. But keeping a copy of the receipt and any and all payments, because you never want that client that comes in and says that they made a payment and you didn't keep a record of it, and you don't know if they paid or not. So you don't want that, create that condition. So make that receipt, keep a copy of it, get everything done before, the client goes into the consultation with the attorney, because it just wants to be a one-on-one environment. You don't want to have, if there's a bunch of papers or a bunch of documents, I generally would be making copies of that and let the attorney decide what needs to be made a copy, because usually they'll tag it or whatever for you. But as far as trying to get a leg up before the client goes in to the consultation, these are some basic things that you can go ahead and take care of to make it easier.